Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to our second day of the summer edition of At Home with APS. I'm Miss Jacobson, and I'm really glad that you're here with us today. Before we get started, I just want to give you a reminder that this Friday and every Friday for our summer month of shows will be a K through 5 day with PE, art, music, and some sort of a Fun Friday or virtual field trip event. So always be sure to tune in on Fridays. If you weren't with us yesterday, you'll know that our first couple of hours are for our kinder, first, and second graders, and our second 2 hours from 10 to noon are for our third, fourth, and fifth grade students. And we are working on math and on reading with all of our students for this summer to help you keep your skills up, to help you keep reading and keep doing mathematical problems and learning how to be good critical thinkers, good writers, and good readers. So stay with us because we've got a lot of fun things happening. It is Pet Week here at home with APS, and we'll be right back.
Good morning, literacy learners. Welcome back to another wonderful episode with At Home with APS Summer Edition. My name is Miss Maggie.
My name is Mrs. Chappell, and I'm a school librarian at S.Y. Jackson Elementary. During the school year, they call me Mrs. Chappell, but this summer, as we're coming into your homes, you can call me Miss Mary.
Fantastic. Miss Mary, I hear you have a wonderful message for our students at home today.
I do. Students at John Baker Elementary School, Bobcats, listen up. I was on the phone this morning with your school librarian, Mrs. Nichols, and she has a special message for you. First of all, she says, "May the force be with you." Second of all, she wants you to know that she is doing YouTube Live Read Aloud every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. So please join her there. Also, she's posting recordings of those read alouds on your Facebook page and also on Twitter. So you can catch up with her and see what's happening over the summer.
Speaking of YouTube and posting videos, we at Home with APS, we are recording each of our episodes and putting them on our APS YouTube channel. For example, if you are a student at home that needs closed captioning, you can always feel free to visit our website for the APS YouTube channel, where you can see all of our episodes over again, along with closed captioning, so you can follow along. You'll also be able to go back and visit previous episodes and keep the learning going even after the episodes finish. But enough about that. Let's move on to our unit for this week. What are we doing this week, Miss Mary?
Well, if we take a look at our books, I'm guessing that you can bet we're learning about pets.
Yes, and so our big question this week, well, what is our big question?
What kinds of pets do you know?
Exactly. So we're going to be doing a quick little activity, practicing our speaking and our listening skills, even at home, using this question. I know, for example, that this is a question. When I say it, my voice inflects up, telling me that this is a question, that I'm asking something. When I read it, I can tell that it's a question because of this punctuation mark at the end. I'll even circle it for you. That tells me that this is a question. Now, read the question aloud with me. What kinds of pets do you know? Let's try that one more time. Ready? What kinds of pets do you know?
Now that Miss Maggie has asked a question, it's my turn to answer it with a response. In a conversation, we have questions and responses.
Yes.
When I respond to a question, it's helpful if I restate the question. For example, I might use part of the question in my answer. I might say a blank can be a pet. So I could say a dog can be a pet. Now, did you notice something about my voice when I responded? My voice didn't go up at the end. With a question, our voice goes up. What kinds of pets do you know? But with a response, our voice doesn't go up. Our voice stays a little bit more flat. The other thing is that in a response, we use the ending punctuation mark called a period. That tells us that it's a statement.
I'll circle it for you on our chart. That's a period. So let's think about that question. What kinds of pets do you know? Think about that for a moment in your head. Let's think about some of the pets that we know, and we can practice responding to the question with a sentence frame to help us.
Yesterday, we used the book Charlotte and the Rock. And at the very beginning of the story, we learned that Charlotte wanted a pet. Now, we also learned that she didn't actually get the pet that she thought she wanted. She got a rock. But when she was thinking about the pets that she wanted, it said she didn't care what kind of pet, a dog, a cat, a hamster, or even a pig would do. I wonder if we could use some of those pets in our sentence frame.
Excellent. I think that's a great idea. So one of those options was a dog can be a pet. I'm going to draw a dog on our chart.
Boys and girls, I'm glad it's Miss Maggie doing the drawing, because if Mrs. Chappell was doing the drawing, it would be a stick figure of a dog, and that's just fine. Any way of drawing works for something like this.
Little mishap with the pen. There we go. What kinds of pets do you know?
A dog can be a pet.
What else?
Well, in the book, Miss Charlotte wanted maybe a cat. So maybe we could use the word cat.
Excellent. Let's try putting the word cat here as we say it together. Ready? Here we go. A cat can be a pet. I will draw a cat for us.
That's a great looking cat.
Give him some little whiskers with lines. Cat. K-a-t. Cat. Let's think of one more.
Now, I'm wondering if instead of using the book, we could take a look at some of the books that we have here.
Fantastic.
This one is a nonfiction book, and it says, "Do you really want a rabbit?" That's a question.
That is a question. So let's take the word rabbit, and we'll use that in our sentence frame for here. A rabbit can be a pet. Will you read that with us? A rabbit can be a pet. I'll draw a rabbit.
Here's the spelling.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. Sometimes that's really helpful when I spell, is to have the word right in front of me. There. Rabbit. These are not the only things that could be pets in our homes. I'm sure that many of you have your own ideas of what other pets you could know and have in your home. Please feel free to send us either pictures or just an idea of what you think a pet could be. Always at our Gmail, apsdistancelearning@gmail.com, or on our Twitter feed, Home with APS.
Boy, I would love to see some pictures of their pets because I really like animals.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to our read aloud time. Today's read aloud is going to be a couple of poems from a poetry book by Shel Silverstein. All of the poems that we're going to read today relate to different kinds of pets and how they act. This book is called A Light in the Attic. It's by Shel Silverstein, and it was published by HarperCollins Publishers in 1981. I'm going to switch the screen over now so that way we can see some of the poems that we're going to read aloud today. We're going to read 4 wonderful poems.
And Miss Maggie, to make sure that we keep social distancing, I'm just going to walk around you to the other side because I know that you're going to be about where I'm standing.
Yes, thank you so much, Miss Mary. Perfect.
I'm so excited with the poems that we've chosen today
Yes.
because Shel Silverstein is one of my favorite poets.
Exactly. He has some wonderful, amazing poems, especially poems that you can visualize. Students, will you say visualize?
Visualize.
Excellent. We're going to visualize some of these poems in our head as I read them aloud to you. When we visualize, we make pictures in our minds, and efficient readers do that as they read. I will model how to visualize as you read so that you could do the same thing at home. Every so often, I'm going to stop after each poem. I'm going to talk to myself about what is happening in the poem and what the author, Shel Silverstein, is showing me in the poem. Doing this will help me keep track of what I'm reading and my thoughts and give me a clearer picture as to what the author describes.
Miss Maggie, it almost sounds as though you're going to be having a conversation with yourself in your head about what you're reading. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing because that's what efficient readers do.
Good to know.
Let's start off with this first poem called Hot Dog. Now, as I read the poem aloud, I'm going to start from the left and read each word individually all the way to the right. Then I will start again from the left. That's how we read as efficient readers. Ready? I have a hot dog for a pet. I started from the left and read to the right. Now I'm going to come to the next part. The only kind my folks would let me get. He does smell sort of bad, and yet he absolutely never gets the sofa wet. We have a butcher for a vet, the strangest vet you ever met. Guess we're the weirdest family yet to have a hot dog for a pet. When I try to visualize a hot dog as a pet, I feel like it's very silly. I picture someone trying to walk the hot dog like it was a pet, or sitting on the sofa like a pet. Let's go to the next poem. Hula eel. Remember, when we read, we start from the left and go all the way to the right, reading each word individually. Take an eel, make a loop. Use him as a hula hoop. Feel him twist and twirl and spin down your ankles, round your chin, tighter, tighter, tighter yet. Ain't an eel a lovely pet? Hey, answer when I talk to you. Don't just stand there turning blue. I've never seen an eel before, but the author's words make me visualize an animal that looks like a snake that is twisted around someone very, very tightly and making it difficult to breathe. That's what I imagine when the author says, turning blue. Let's try the next one. Dog's Day. They could have sung me just one song to kind of sort of celebrate, or left a present on the lawn, a juicy bone, a piece of steak, instead of just a candle on this lump of dog food on my plate. But no one cares when a dog was born, and this ain't much of a birthday cake. Let's visualize this for a second in our mind. The words lump of dog food. I picture something that does not look very good to eat. It sounds like the dog would rather have a bone or a steak instead. The lost cat. We can't find the cat. We don't know where she's at. Oh, where did she go? Does anyone know? Let's ask this walking hat. I think the author's words helped me find the cat when I visualized it in my head. Did you find the cat? I think I see her too. She's under the hat. The way I modeled visualizing those conversations in my head, the pictures in the poems for my head, is ways that we can visualize text in our own mind. This is something you could do with a grown-up or when you read on your own. As you're reading, see if you can visualize the story in your head or the poems in your own mind. Pause every once in a while and see if you can retell the story back to a stuffed animal, your pet, or the grown-up that you're reading with. These visualizations, visualizing the story, can help you do just that. When we come back, we are going to be continuing with our high-frequency words and our vocabulary. We'll see you in just a second. Welcome back. We were so excited to share those poems from Shel Silverstein with you. Now we are going to use those poems to go through some high-frequency words, vocabulary, comprehension, and writing. We're going to start with high-frequency words. Although, Miss Mary, you used such a wonderful term for them yesterday. What was that again?
I call high-frequency words popcorn words because they're words that pop up all the time when we're reading and writing.
So we are going to practice some of those popcorn words. I am going to teach a high-frequency word routine that you could even use at home with any high-frequency word that comes up. I'm going to model the first time with this word. I'm going to get a pen. Here is the first word, and I'm going to use it in a sentence. The sentence is, I have a hot dog. Think about that sentence for a second. I have a hot dog. Now I'm going to write it for you. I have a dog. D, a, g. That's the end of my sentence, so I need a period at the end. This is going to be our high frequency word today. That's the word have. Say the word have.
Have.
This is a high frequency word, just like those popcorn words. It pops up very frequently in text. Let's try skywriting the word. When you skywrite, you stand up, and Miss Mary is going to help me do this as well. You lift your arm nice and straight, high, with 2 fingers pointing straight out. You're going to use your arm to write the word. And you want to make sure that you write each letter carefully. One of the things that you can do to help you skywrite the word is that you could point to the word with your arm and almost trace it with those fingers that you are pointing out so straight. Let's try it together. Ready? Here we go. H, A, V, E. Have. Can you try that one more time with us? Arms up and straight. Ready? Here we go. H, A, V, E. Have. Great job. That's the word have.
Miss Maggie, can I try one?
Absolutely. That will be great.
You know, I think I know how you did it, but let's just make sure. So the first thing that I need to know is which word I'm using and choose a sentence that has the word. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
So I have a sentence here. It's the hot dog is my pet.
Excellent.
It sounds like that was a word from the poem that we just read.
It was. It's from the poem Hot Dog.
Now, the next thing I'll do is write that sentence. Let me try that. So, the hot dog is my pet.
And it's very important that we say every word as we write it.
The space hot. The hot dog. D. G. Whoop. Let me just fix that a little bit. Sometimes on these boards that happens. The hot dog is, that's a popcorn word, but it's not the popcorn word we're gonna focus on. And then, since I've run out of room there, I'll come down here, pet, t. And since I'm making a statement, I'll end my sentence with a period. So I've written my sentence, and I'll just read it one more time, make sure I remembered all the words.
Yeah.
The hot dog is my pet.
Perfect.
And now the next thing that I want to do is circle the popcorn word that I'm focusing on. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, since I left that in red, I think I'll change my color so that it really stands out to me. And
Excellent.
to change my color, do I just tap on this pen here?
Yes, you do.
Let me try it one more time.
On the arrow. There we go.
Oh, I think I'll use green. Make it really pop out.
Maybe the darker green would show up a little bit better.
Try that one?
Yeah.
Let's try that. And my popcorn word is the. So I'll circle the word the. So I've written the sentence, I circled the word, and what do I do next?
Next, what we need to do is we need to practice just reading that one word.
Well, I'll point at it, and we'll all read it. Ready?
The. Perfect.
Now what?
Now we need to practice skywriting the word.
Skywriting is one of my favorite things because it lets me really get the whole word into my body.
Yes.
So let's get our arms out. Now remember, Miss Maggie, this is the pen that I'm using. We don't want to pass it back and forth.
No.
So I'll put mine down over here and let's skywrite. Arms out straight, fingers pointing. I'm looking at the word and let's say the letters as we skywrite. Ready? T, H, E, the. That was pretty easy. Shall we do it one more time?
Absolutely.
Ready? T, H, E, the.
Great work.
I think I got it. How did you do with that?
I think they did wonderful at home. I can already tell.
What's our next word?
Our next word is going to be and. The hot dog smells bad and is not wet. That's a long sentence.
That is a long sentence.
But I know we can do it. Listen to it one more time. The hot dog smells bad and is not wet. Let's write that out.
That was my popcorn word. Do you remember that one? I do.
Hot, dog, d, g, smells, s, o, and that gets a bonus letter. S, smells. Now I gotta come all the way back to the left. B, a, d, and is not wet. W, e, t. And period at the end. Now I need to circle my high frequency word. And let's read the word together. And. All right, arms up. Let's skywrite it. Ready? Here we go. A, N, D, and. One more time. Ready? Here we go. A, N, D, and. Excellent work. So we learned 3 new high frequency words today. What were they again, Miss Mary?
And, the, and have.
Perfect. We'll review those words again throughout this entire week.
I bet they're going to pop up a lot.
Oh, Miss Mary, you're so funny. Let's move on to our vocabulary. In the poem, A Dog's Day, we had a couple of vocabulary words really pop up for us. The first word is juicy. Say the word juicy.
Juicy.
Juicy means full of juice, especially in this instance. This orange on my picture is very juicy. Pretend you have an orange and you are squeezing the orange juice over a glass. Can you visualize the juice coming out of the orange? Do you see how it is juicy? Miss Mary, I'd love for you to name another fruit that is juicy, and you can use this sentence frame, a blank is juicy, to help you answer.
Well, It is summertime, and in the summertime, one of my favorite fruits to eat is a peach because they get to be so juicy. I can just feel the juice all over my hands. So I think I'll use that word.
Perfect.
A peach is juicy.
Oh, how wonderful. I know, and this goes for my pets too. They love watermelon. Watermelon is very juicy, and the juice falls right out of the watermelon. So a watermelon is juicy. Let's try another word.
This word is celebrate. When we celebrate something, we get to recognize something special.
Yes.
An example would be a birthday. I just had my birthday, and I got to celebrate it with my family. Miss Maggie, can you think of something else that we might celebrate?
We also might celebrate the 4th of July.
That was one event that popped into my head, maybe because it's coming up soon. We might need to celebrate it in different ways this year.
Absolutely.
But that's okay. We can still celebrate the event, the 4th of July. Now, we can also think about why we celebrate something.
Yes.
So we celebrate the 4th of July because
It was the day we became the United States of America.
we celebrate the 4th of July because it's the day that we became independent. That is so exciting.
Perfect. So we can use sentence frames like this that can state what we are celebrating and give a reason. That's going to come up later in our writing as well. I hope you use the words juicy and celebrate as you continue through your day. Let's go ahead and let's move into some comprehension.
Now, will you explain to me what is comprehension? That's a pretty big word.
It is. Comprehension means how we understand the stories that we read. Sometimes it helps us to understand a story better as we take it apart into its different parts and study it in different ways. That's what comprehension is.
Makes sense to me.
We're going to use something called a story map today to help us understand a couple of the poems that we read. So, for this one, we're going to use the poems Hula Eel and The Lost Cat.
Those were great poems.
They were so much fun to read. Now, many literary texts have story elements, including poems. And these story elements are things like the setting, which is the time or the place, characters, which are people, animals, or personified things. Those are things that we give a personality to, like the pet rock. It had its own personality in the story that Charlotte did. And, of course, major events in the story. These are the important things that happen in the story that help us move along. See if you can follow along with us. And you might be able to do something like this to help you understand the stories that you read with grown-ups at home. So let's think about the lost cat first. So I am going to use this story map, and I am going to write the lost, cat. Let's first think about the setting of the lost cat. Miss Mary, do you remember a setting being mentioned in the poem?
You know, I don't. I'm thinking back to the story, and I remember that we learned that the cat was lost, but I don't remember them talking about what time the story happened or what place the story happened.
And Miss Mary, did you know that sometimes that happens in stories? It has to exist in stories. There has to be a time and a place.
Like you and I are standing right here, right now, but we haven't said that we're standing right here, right now.
That's right. And so many times poems and stories might infer or give an idea as to what the setting is.
I see.
So maybe we can think about, what would the setting have been in The Lost Cat? What would make the most sense?
Well, we know that the cat is lost, so it must be a pet. And pets live in our homes with us.
I think that's a good inference that you just made, that this is probably happening in a home. I'm going to put that down. In a home. Now, let's think back to the characters of our poem. Who were our characters?
Well, one of them is pretty easy. That's the cat. Poor little lost cat.
And the other one isn't as easy. It's another inference we have to make as readers. Because not only do we have the cat, but we have the group that is looking for the cat. They are the we. We don't know where she's at.
Oh, that tells us right there that the other characters are we.
Now let's think about the major events from the poem. Well, boys and girls, students, what happens first in that poem?
I think to know that, I have to replay the pictures that I made in my mind back in my head. So what happened first?
I remember that the group, were looking for the cat. They were looking for the cat. So the cat was lost.
Makes sense.
The cat is lost. Did they know where the cat was?
They didn't know where the cat was. That's what made the cat lost.
They kept asking themselves, where is the cat? Whoops.
That eraser is pretty handy.
I have to make sure that I write my C in a way that makes sense.
Oh, I see you used a question mark.
Yes, because when I say, where is the cat, my voice goes up and I'm asking something. So I have to use a question mark at the end. Well, then what happened towards the end of the poem that gave us a clue as to where the cat was?
I have a really strong picture in my mind.
What picture is that?
Well, there was this hat walking across the floor.
There is a walking hat. What inference could we make? What can we infer as readers as to where the cat was?
Well, do hats usually walk across the floor?
Not that I know of.
So I wonder what could have made the hat walk across the floor.
It had to have been the cat.
Oh, that silly cat.
The cat is under the hat. And I'm very excited about that, so I'm going to put an exclamation mark at the end. Miss Mary, would you like to try the next one?
I would, but in order to do that, I think I will need to use the book. So I can come over here and I can pick up the book and I can turn to our next poem, which is called The Lost Eel. And Miss Maggie, what page was that on?
Well, Hula Eel, our next...
Oh, Hula Eel, not The Lost Eel.
That's okay. Hula Eel is on page 109.
And I could have looked it up, but that may have taken more time.
That's
so
okay.
I'm just going to turn to 109, and I think I'll read it real quickly.
Perfect.
Hula eel. I need my glasses. Take an eel, make a loop. Use him as a hula hoop. Feel him twist and twirl and spin down your ankles, round your chin, tighter, tighter, tighter yet. Ain't an eel a lovely pet? Hey, answer when I talk to you. Don't just stand there turning blue. That is such a funny poem.
I love that poem.
Now, we need to start with the title of the poem, which again was Hula Eel, not the lost eel, as I said. Hula Eel. Of course, I'm using uppercase beginnings at the beginning of the words because this is a title. Setting. I don't remember that there was a setting here.
It wasn't mentioned, so I think it was just like the lost cat, where we have to infer or think about where the setting might have been.
And if it's pet, again, probably home. I'll just write the word home. And the characters. Who is in the story? You know, the characters tells us who, and as you mentioned, it could be a person, a place, a thing, or an object that is personified. It takes on people-like qualities, like talking. Well, we know that one of the who of the story is the eel. And who else?
Well, if the eel is a pet, I think the other character is the person who has the eel as the pet.
So what could we call that person?
The owner?
We could call it the owner. Let's write owner. Next, the plot. The plot tells us the major events of the story. Take an eel, make a loop, use him as a hula hoop. What could we write for that?
Well, it makes it sound like he twists and he twirls and he spins. That's what I picture in my mind when he's a hula hoop.
So to save a little bit of writing time, I'm just going to write some key words.
Perfect.
Twists, twirls, spins.
That's great.
You know, our students could also draw pictures for this.
Absolutely. Pictures can be very helpful in comprehension as well.
And as I finish writing this, we could be thinking about the next event. Down your ankles, around your chin, tighter, 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 yet ain't an eel a lovely pet?
I'm picturing an eel getting tighter. It's really pulling me in.
So I'm just going to do the key word tight. Hey, answer when I talk to you. Don't just stand there, turning blue.
Oh my goodness, the owner is turning blue.
I'm just going to use the key word blue to remind me that the owner was turning blue.
Perfect. Did you notice how we differentiated or made a little bit of difference between the first one and the last one? We modified it based on where we were at with our students. And you can do the same thing at home. Where I was using longer words and longer sentences might be more for our second graders and some of our first graders. Single words, maybe even pictures, would be most appropriate for our kindergarten students and our first graders. Just work at a level that's right for you.
5 minutes.
Now, if you notice with both of these, the setting wasn't mentioned. And something like that can always happen with a literary text. You just have to think about it and infer what makes sense with the story. Now, let's move on to our very last part. We're going to do some writing today. We're going to think about the 4 poems that we read aloud today and think, which poem was your favorite? Read that with me.
Which poem was your favorite?
So for this, we're going to write an opinion piece. And when we look at this prompt, this question here, we're asking for your own thoughts, which is an opinion. You're going to be telling somebody those particular thoughts. And so through this, we're going to become clear and creative writers by being able to share our own thoughts. So let's think about which poem was your favorite?
Well, for that, we have to know what our choices are. And I can think back to the poems that you read.
Yes.
Let's see. You read The Lost Cat. That was right here. Dog's Day, Hula Eel, and Hot Dog. So now I know what my choices are. Now I have to make a choice on which one of those was my favorite. Okay, I think I have it in my head.
Okay, I think I have a choice in my head too. Now, because we are going to be working on becoming clear and creative writers, we're going to focus mostly today on the writing part. However, you can follow along with us, or you can also draw pictures to communicate your opinion as well. So as you're working on your writing skills, you could also have a grown-up at home help you with this as well. So let's start off with a topic sentence. Miss Mary, do you have an idea for a topic sentence?
Well, this reminds me of when we started today's episode. You asked a question and I responded, and in my answer, I used part of the question. So maybe I could do that again for the topic sentence. So I might say something like the name of the poem, and then the words, was my favorite.
Perfect. Will you model that for us?
I sure will. And the name of the poem was Hot Dog. What was the full title?
Hot
Just
Dog.
Hot Dog. Hot Dog. There's the word was. I can just copy that. Was my, because I don't want to copy the word your. And there's favorite. I can see that my A doesn't look great. I'll go back and just try to fix that. And then there's the word poem. I now have a topic sentence. Hot Dog was my favorite poem. It's a statement, so I used a period.
Perfect. I'm going to write my opinion as well. I am going to change up my topic sentence a little bit because topic sentences don't have to look the same. I'm going to say, my favorite poem is, favorite poem is Hula Eel.
I can see that our topic sentences don't look exactly alike. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Part of being a clear and creative writer is finding your own style. Now, we need to give a reason. A reason tells others why we think or believe the way that we do. Essentially, why our favorite poem is the ones that we chose. So, I'm thinking about why I like Hula Eel. I like that Hula Eel is funny. So I'm going to write, I like Hula Eel because, and I'm going to do my best spelling because right now I'm focused on my ideas, not my
Absolutely.
spelling. I like hula eel because it is funny. How about you? Why do you like hot dog?
Well, let me tell you my reason, but then let's talk about how a kindergartner might answer this.
Perfect.
My reason is because the poem Hot Dog reminded me of yesterday's story, Charlotte and the Rock, where she didn't get a real pet, just like the hot dog wasn't a real pet. But if I had a kindergarten student at home, I might say, you know what, one sentence is enough, and let's draw a picture.
Perfect.
So I'll draw my hot dog, maybe with little legs, walking along in a leash.
Perfect.
That's the picture I made in my head.
I think that's a great picture, and it definitely gives me a good reason as to why hot dog is your favorite poem. Our last one is going to be a conclusion statement, and this is more for our second graders and our first graders, because in kindergarten and early first grade, it's enough to give an opinion and tell us why you like it. In second grade and towards the end of first grade, we want you to be able to give a conclusion sentence, which tells us the end of your writing. So we're going to model what one of those might look like. For example, it needs to wrap up the paragraph, the group of sentences that I'm writing, and connect back to my topic. This is why hula eel is my favorite. Now, you probably noticed some mistakes on my paper, and that's okay. Right now, today, we are just focused on ideas, and we will be checking those errors on Thursday when we come back to this writing. What are some other things, Miss Mary, that we could do after we finish getting just the basic ideas on our poem?
Well, we could think about drawing a picture. We could reread it and see if there was anything that we could do to make it better. And as you said, we're going to be doing that part on Thursday.
Perfect. If you're following along with us and you've created your own writing, bring it back on Thursday, and we will work on how creative and clear writers make their writing stronger. So, Miss Mary, what were the things that we did today?
Oh, so much. We read poetry, we talked about visualizing, we retold story elements, we practiced popcorn words, we did writing opinions.
Wow. And what more could we do at home?
You know, yesterday we had students make a list of pets that they might be interested in learning more about. I would love to have them choose one of the pets on that list and go back and circle it and then start making a list of what they would want to learn about that pet.
I think that's a great idea. As with most of our lessons here today, there is going to be a website on APS where you could find these episodes and resources to go along with the majority of lessons that you will see today. Please remember to visit our YouTube channel if you want to come back to this episode at any point, and there will be closed captioning included. This is Miss Mary and Miss Maggie, and we wanted to thank you for joining us today with At Home with APS, the summer edition, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.